If I was governor of Louisiana, I would work for the people. Like, I would put the people first. You know, that's a big thing. And these industries and these companies that profit off of us, off of our damage, I'll make them pay their fair share. And I'd use that to put back into our healthcare system, which is being robbed right now, and put back into our higher education system, which is being robbed right now, and really lift up the needs of the people themselves. My daughter, my 18-year-old is getting ready to go into college, and the only place that she had to pay a fee was in her home state in Louisiana. But that's because there's not enough money in the education system, and Bobby Jindal's raping it right now. Like, he's pulling the money out. But at the same time, he's giving Sasol plant in Mossville $2 billion to do that expansion. The expansion in a community that's already sickened or being dispersed, you know? That's my thing. All that money is going into industry. They're getting tax breaks while the people are suffering and continuing to have to deal with the education system, which is like I think it was LSU is getting rid of a bunch of teachers, and then also the healthcare system. Like, they're shutting down hospitals around here. That's another thing. You know, BP made a lot of people sick, but then at the same time they're shutting down hospitals so people can't even get the basic health care, because we don't have any toxicologists down here, or very few. They don't want the toxicologists here because the way they'd be able to tell them some stuff, right? If I took over right this very minute, that would be like the first thing that I would do, is start making these industries pay their fair share, like as of to date, and root out corruption, because we know we are a corrupt state. But more importantly, like, you know, I think a lot of people in my area in particular, they just feel like there's nothing they can do. Like, you know, they feel like they've given up. And I think part of the job of being a leader is to remind people that, first of all, you don't have that option. You know, your kids and your grandkids are going to be here 7 generations in front of you, all that. Need to be taken care of and supported, so you don't get to just zone out. You don't have the opportunity to do that. But besides that, just empowering people to make the community that they want to see. Really. One other concern that doesn't get brought up very much is BP's effect, coupled with climate change and the rising sea levels, on our marsh areas. We lose about a football field. We have about a football field of land loss every hour in Louisiana. And we're up to 1 million football fields at this point of just land loss. And that's important not just because of land, but it's also important because that's our buffer from life-stealing hurricanes. And then also with all the refineries and the infrastructure we have here, it's not very well known, but every hurricane we have is an environmental disaster. I mean, because it ends up, some of our refineries, during Katrina, Rita, Ike, Gustav, they go underwater because they're so close to the coast, you know. So that's played a damaging effect, and BP did not help when that oil went out there. It kills the root system, and then some of our islands have completely disappeared since then. I mean, I don't know what the next step is, but I do know a good step would be to fill in those. They had run a bunch of pipes for the oil industry itself, and that's part of why I think 30% of the land loss that we have is because of those pipes, and by law they were supposed to fill them back in. So our levee board had filed a suit trying to make them repair the damage that they had done, and our Governor Jindal lost it. Like, you know, they called it frivolous suits. He went after the people on the board specifically, went after any groups that tried to help. And this is all on public record. I mean, you can look it up. Louisiana Oil and Gas Association called out people. They went around to different meetings and called out anybody that was trying to make that happen, specifically by name, public enemy #1, you know. And then here just last week in federal court, they lost that bid. I'm probably going to appeal it, but chances are low that they're ever going to be able to make this industry do what they're supposed to do, and to fill that in. And that is directly damaging to my community, because when these hurricanes come in, we're much closer to the Gulf than we used to be. These wetlands would have soaked up that wind that damaged the water, and now they're not there, and so we're going to see more and more flooding closer and closer to inland, right? Maybe that's another thing I would do if I was the governor. I don't know.